I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's nothing more exciting to start a wrestling show off with than a pre-taped video segment. Oh yes, thousands of people sitting in for a live show, millions at home who already saw last week's episode, last week when it was on. And instead of a wrestling match or even just an in-ring promo with some top stars, we get a recap and a pre-taped promo. Roman Reigns sits down for some #cinema with his groupies, the NP Usos, and it's clear that Reigns' acting coach has not even spent a single minute with Jimmy and Jay. Perhaps he's scared to get in a car with them or something, I don't know. Reigns drones on about not being sure where Jacob Kardashian is coming from, as if wanting to challenge for a world title is some kind of bizarre notion for a wrestler to have. Reigns is a very good promo and all, but unfortunately, when it comes to the Usos, I don't speak the language of Samoans cosplaying as Hood, so most of the Usos' dialogue was just lost on me here, as per usual. Closing line was pretty rich. Reigns agrees with Yeet Man that they're not handing out charity. Anyone who's watched WWE this decade knows they hand out charity to anyone, even vaguely related to Rikishi, over-pushing a bunch of drunken Nepo babies, all while Reigns is the only family member to actually be any good, all round, at that whole sports entertainment thing. What a dull and dreary way to start a show. Anyways, after that we got a match. Oh no, we didn't get a match. It's segment time. Zest Fruity Rollins is upset with Bron breakup for dumping him last year, and now Rollins must close his eyes and pretend it's Breaker at home when Becky Cringe wants to try for another baby. Rollins actually gloated about botching so badly last week that he endangered Breaker's already probably quite small brain matter with that steel chair shot. Breaker cut a stiff, cardboard promo about playing second fiddle to the Monday night man-on-man delight before handing us all a very realistic impression of Rollins' insufferably whiny, nasal promo delivery. Very good. Breaker revealed he never required a big main event star like Rollins' mentorship. What he needed, actually, was an obese, penny-pinching weasel who's cut the same promo every week for 10 years in Paul Heyman. Rollins had some vaguely interesting material here, comparing himself to Breaker, noting quite accurately that despite the star potential, Breaker is largely twiddling his thumbs as an upper mid-carder in his athletic prime. Breaker randomly joined the CM Punk Kiss My Ass Club while mentioning his world title match defeat to the Lockport Shooter before pointing out the hard truth about Rollins. He is a supporting act, Mr. Number 2, the guy who works with the guy. Look, some logical character and story development here, but this dragged way too long. We were past the 20-minute mark of the show by this point, and not even a hint of in-ring action. Shocking. Roxanne Perez came straight from science class at the local high school to help take out Stephanie Vacation next. Hometown crowd were happy to see Perez, but there was a strange lack of heat for the Vacation beatdown. Not a great sign for the Devil Horns lady after her disappointing loss at WrestleMania. Half an hour in and we finally get a match as Benta puts the Midcard gold up for grabs against resident cuck chair enthusiast Rusev. Rusev was apparently allergic to jobs in AEW, but is clearly addicted to them here in WWE. Spending more time on his back than Lana when Rusev brings one of his gym buddies home for the night. Anyways, this was sub 8 minutes, and really sub 4 minutes for viewers at home, given the huge ad break cutting right through it like a knife through butter. From what little we saw, the story was Penta using his speed and smarts to outsmart and outmaneuver the slow, blah, uncharismatic Rusev into a quick, schoolboy surprise pinfall loss. Fortunately, Ethan Page was here to make up for Rusev sucking all the personality right out of the venue. Page is simply a natural at playing the comically smug, douchebag heel, and the only worry here is they may try to use his charisma to prop up Rusev's heat vacuum level crowd silence. Anyways, Javon Evans made the save for Penta. And one can't help but notice how much more interesting and dynamic Paige and Evans are compared to the guys actually in the title picture here. Up next, channel-changing time as Becky Cringe came out for more of her hammy overacting that kindly reminds us every single week why her lofty Hollywood dreams will remain just that. And while Cringe was certainly right about famed, middle-aged, teenager AJ Lee's title run being just awful, let's be real, hers isn't much better. She went for some cheap heat talking about The Undertaker's old WrestleMania streak, but no one cared. I had to fast-forward this blowhard gas bag of a promo about her kid at WrestleMania, I'm afraid. I'm not even going to explain why. Iyo Sky arrived to continue her war on the English language. One interesting thing here, Cringe claimed Sky was holding Wea Whipwee back. This is true. But Whipwee is also holding Sky back. Heading into Mania 41 last year, Sky was a beloved babyface, while Whipwee was over as the resident tough chick. Their will they, won't they quasi-romance act has killed Whipwee's edge as a character, whilst also demoting Sky to the role of useless sidekick. Talk about booking malpractice. Anyways, the commentators quickly wrote Kairi Sane off TV during commentary, obviously, for Sky vs. Cringe, as a bunch of marks and normies throw hissy fits over Asuka's downright dangerous between the ropes sidekick. Moving back to Japan, fans are actually giving her more attention now than when she was actually in the company. This match had basic, but in fairness logical and effective psychology, with heel Cringe fighting unscrupulously to ground the high-flying athletics of Sky between the ropes. And I must say, the difference in athleticism and general mobility between these two was a fine example of chalk and cheese. Cringe is starting to move like Hulk Hogan in 2002, just without the star power, charisma, box office appeal, or, well, anything that Hogan used to bring to the table back in the day. Ad break ruined the flow of the match for those of us watching at home, leading into Asuka helping Cringe retain. Iyo Sky has some charm and likability, even with the trash booking, but Cringe and Asuka are well on their way to relic territory at this point. Slide Trip was upset his new buddies the Usos were allied with their family. Their own family, in Roman Reigns again. This guy seriously thinks the Usos are going to hang out with him, their somewhat pal in the past few months, over their blood relative. Ridiculous. Bit of a nothing segment that teased a little bit of a feud here. Maybe LA Knight turning heel on the Usos and going after Reigns is his ticket back to somewhere nearer the top of the card. Who knows? Up next, me, considering ending this little hobby of mine on the spots. Joe entrance theme is here. Say his name, you'll see he's lame. Oh my goodness. And he's here to remind us just how talented The Rock really was to make lame wrestling concerts seem fun and worth watching. What was even the point of firing Elias if we're just gonna get this now? Hendry set this song up by revealing he had a decision to make, but the song then confirmed he'd already made said decision by signing with RAW. Okay then. Now, as I'm sure anyone who takes the time to listen to reviews and roasts of WWE shows already knows, the WWE have caught some bad press this week with their latest batch of releases. Budget cuts, tough stuff. So Hendry, singing for a wrestler to be fired, felt a little tone-deaf, even if it is a goofball celebrity wrestler like Logan Paul. A guy who, despite a mere fraction of the same level of experience, is already more entertaining between the ropes than Hendry has ever been. Anyways, Hendry desperately clawed for crowd support and got it by calling for Paul's sacking and kissing Reigns' tribal behind. This sucked. Maybe it's an acquired taste, maybe I'm just missing the appeal. I know Hendry is popular as a meme because of his entrance theme, but good grief, is there anything more to this guy than that? Anyways, Hendry got some backup from the Street Profits when Paul and Austin Theory came out to confront him. And I have no doubt that a tag team match between the Profits and the Vision guys could be really, really good. It's just a shame there'll be a fifth wheel in Hendry loitering about the place, apparently. Rey Mysterio versus one of the El Grande Americanos next in a fun match that was easily the best part of the show thus far. Not that that is a very high bar to clear, of course. An ad break once again disrespected the talent involved, but the action and storytelling made for a good laugh. From what I saw of it, with Americano's dreaded mask plate frequently coming into play, with the not Chad Gable Americano preventing the not Ludwig Kaiser Americano from using it at the last hurdle. This mostly served as a heat builder for the upcoming Americano versus Americano bout in AAA, and it did its job just fine. It was perfectly entertaining for what it was. Now I switched the subtitles on for Asuka's promo, but gosh darn it, somehow I also hit that fast forward button right up until it finished, so I couldn't even tell you what happened. Anyways, Oba Femi, the man who crushed and destroyed Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, is now set to just twiddle his thumbs until the WWE are finally ready to push him into the world title picture, probably around SummerSlam, one would guess. The highly uninspired Femi Open Challenge kicked off with a man in seriously major danger, and I don't mean this as a joke, it's no laughing matter. But he is in danger should WWE have another series of cuts, and that is Grayson Waller. It goes without saying this was a quick squash. Femi then seemed to tease a US title challenge, bizarrely, which is on the other show, and he just beat one of the last major legends still in the business at WrestleMania. He crushed the Beast to openly challenge jobbers and secondary champs afterwards. Way to taint the main event aura this guy was building up just 8 days on from the biggest moment of his career thus far. If they really want to sell what a beast Femi's meant to be, next week it's very simple. He comes out with this open challenge, and no one answers, because no one wants the smoke. Now that Roxanne Perez is back and fully recovered from Liv Morgan's head pulverizing her face into mush before Mania, she gets a nice hometown hero tag bout next, with Raquel Rodriguez opposite Bird Lady and Bayley. And anyone who's listened to one or two of these reviews already knows my strict policy when it comes to Bayley. This was mainly just a return showcase for Perez in front of a crowd that loudly supported her. Now, we already saw Roman Reigns open the show with talking, so what better way to finish the show than with Roman Reigns talking? Reigns cut a decent promo on the world title's original position as a title to make up for then WWE champ Reigns being a part-timer in 2023, before Jacob Fatu, fresh off some more tooth decay, because apparently basic hygiene is just too much to ask of some people. And I live in the UK, so trust me when I tell you, I see disgusting plebs who've never owned a toothbrush every single day. Unless I don't leave the house, which, with my job, is becoming a more enticing idea every passing day. Anyways, Fatu is very entertaining in the ring, but his promos are an acquired taste, to put it politely. Here, he took a page out of Will Ospreay's book, never a guy to emulate on the mic, and started droning on about the grind, conveniently glossing over the criminal record hovering around, being the main reason his family connections weren't enough to get him into the land that Vince built sooner. I'm not saying they need to bring it up every week, but surely there were more interesting stories Fatu could have told about his career here than just whinging that he had to work in MLW for a few years, a promotion he was apparently very loyal to as well, so he can't have hated it that much. Now, despite this being a relatively fresh matchup, this promo still just kinda dragged between the two of them. And Reigns' comments on nepotism near the end were just hilariously rich and nonsensical. It heated up a bit when Fatu went full psycho boy and handed Reigns a beating. Something far more compelling than these two just standing around talking about their feelings could ever be. If this was meant to be a Fatu heel turn, the relatively low-key crowd response was not a good sign. Even so, heel Fatu will always be more entertaining than the ill-fitting babyface persona the WWE have tried to force upon him over the past year. No doubt the match will be good at Backlash, and there are some interesting story beats going on here, but as always, WWE feels far too tightly and awkwardly scripted, cutting these guys off at the knee on the mic by trying to make them TV actors rather than wrestlers.